All right, guys. Am I muted? What's going on here? Hello? Why is my little guy not dancing? I have no volume. This shows I have no volume. Isn't that awesome? Let's see here. Hello? Hello, volume. Volume working? Volume is not working. Oh, I have it turned off. Hello? Volume's working. Ah! All right, so we're waiting here. It'll be any moment now for the defense opening arguments. They will be they're coming up. I am going to let my puppy dog outside real quick. I have this chocolate Labrador who is going through the stages of everybody hates me, nobody will play with me, and I can't let that happen. So I'm going to let him outside, and we'll have some fun. I'll be back in a moment. But I'm going to leave this sitting here, and yeah, that's about it. coming. I'm back. My air conditioner off. All right, guys. Oh, my earphones downstairs. So that's awesome. Awesome. All right. Did I miss anything?
Unless I hear
Volume.
from the jury that there's a problem with that, we'll continue to do so.
Oh, that was no good.
To humbly ask the court to reconsider allowing the jurors who choose to do so, if they choose to do so, to remove their masks. Constitutionally, we maintain that we are entitled to be able to see the faces of the jurors who are deliberating.
I agree with this.
Let's make sure that doesn't happen in the middle of opening. And just for the record, we're getting some kind of feedback. So we're just going to try to get that cleared up.
So you don't want a secret jury convicting you. That's the idea and the point behind the mask. I know I'm trying to get this feedback out here. Sorry, guys. Is this is my mic on? Is my mic on? Hello. It's not. My microphone is not on for some reason. That sucks. All right, testing.
Technology is wonderful until it's not.
Yeah, it's not wonderful at all right now for me. No, it is working.
Are you just playing the dial tone?
No, there's no echo, there's no reverb.
All right. So hopefully now I've got everything figured out. We will get through the opening arguments here. I have got to get a subscription to StreamYard. That's all there is to it.
Okay, let's go get the panel.
Supposed to rise at home too, y'all.
Please be seated. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I can see everybody, I think. I can see you all over there. Okay. Hope you enjoyed your lunch. We are ready to proceed with opening statements in the case. Counsel for Travis McMichael.
afternoon.
Towards me? Okay. Good afternoon. For those of you who may not remember from 2 weeks ago or who
All right, let's do this.
My name is Bob Rubin. And along with Jason Sheffield, who I think y'all met, we represent Travis McMichael. This case is about duty and responsibility.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I was trying to get your co-counsel, but if you could get, you can,
Closer?
understand you may wander. If we could try to get close to the microphone for the court reporter.
Yes, sir. It's about Travis McMichael's duty and responsibility to himself, to his family, and to his neighborhood. And it's about your duty and responsibility as jurors.
Opening arguments are the only time you walk away from the
The state talked
well.
about actions based on assumptions. I'm going to talk about facts. Facts in this case. Travis McMichael is 35 years old.
The judge stopping him right there was
5-year-old son.
unique.
From 2007 until 2016, Travis McMichael was in the United States Coast Guard. He was a boarding officer in the Coast Guard, which means he was authorized to make arrests. He was authorized to do investigations. He was authorized to do searches. He was authorized to use his weapon when appropriate. In order to become a boarding officer, he attended FLETC in Charleston, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. You all know that acronym. At FLETC, he took the training that allowed him to do the law enforcement activities that he did for 10 years or 9 years. He learned how to do searches and seizures. He learned what probable cause was, a legal term that you'll hear more about. He learned how to use firearms in a safe, effective way. He learned how to use force in compliance with his training. The training he had was not just classroom training at FLETC. It is scenario-based training. It is repetitive training so that if you're ever in a real-life situation where you need to make use of force decisions, you're relying not just thinking back, you're relying on muscle memory. Because those split seconds are often the difference between life and death.
I'm not a fan
Not
of
only
muscle
did
memory.
Travis McMichael get training at FLETC in all of these law enforcement activities, searches and seizures, investigations, report writing, use of firearms, use of force decision-making. But every year he was in the Coast Guard, he had additional training. And every year in the Coast Guard, when he became efficient enough, he then became a trainer of the trainees. He was training the trainers. He was training his fellow Coast Guardsmen on the law enforcement activities, on how to be a boarding officer. After he left the Coast Guard, and in 2020, Travis was working for Metzen Marine as a coxswain. He's working at the naval base, moving boats around. He was living at home with his mom, Lee, and his father, Greg, his sister, Lindsay, and his son, Everett, who was then 3 years old. He was living at home because the apartment he was living in previously had been sold by his landlord. So he needed to live back at home, save some money so he could go back out on his own again. He was living, as the state told you earlier, in Satilla Shores. This is a low-tech map of Satilla Shores because I don't trust PowerPoint. You'll see a PowerPoint, but I don't trust it that much. So this is a regular map of it. Google Earth map. Highway 17 up here, Satilla Drive here, 230.
Okay, I already love this attorney.
Just to acclimate you, this is Jones Road, and I know it's hard. It's hard for all jurors maybe to see this, but you'll see this many times throughout the case.
I love this.
And we'll talk more about the rest of it. But he lived on Satilla Drive in Satilla.
We're gonna use a regular map that I printed out.
Satilla Shores is a quiet, scenic, middle-class neighborhood. The kind of neighborhood where parents let the kids ride around on their bikes. The kind of neighborhood where, when you're my age, you go for a walk after dinner. The kind of neighborhood that we all kind of aspire to live in. It's safe, it's beautiful. You work in the yard, you play on the river. This is the family and community that Travis McMichael felt a duty and responsibility to during the course of events in 2019 and 2020. This is the family and community that made him willing to put himself at risk to help the police detain Ahmaud Arbery. The video that you watched probably 5 times in the state's opening statement doesn't even begin to tell the story in this case. It's like looking through that knot hole in the fence and thinking you see the whole baseball field when you really only see the outfield. The case really begins months before in 2019 because Satilla Shores was a neighborhood on edge. Crime had gone up. It wasn't violent crime. It was property crimes. The kind of crimes that are unsettling. The kind of crimes that are scary. Because you don't know who's coming onto your property, who's in your car ransacking it, who's breaking into your buildings, who's stealing your lawnmowers or your guns. And so the neighborhood was on edge. So much so that behaviors began to change by the neighbors. Kids were not allowed, some kids, to play outside after dark. Residents of Satilla Shores installed home surveillance cameras to catch the thieves that were taking their property. And neighbors in Satilla Shores felt a duty and responsibility to each other to post on the neighborhood pages, Facebook and Nextdoor, about the crime that was happening. And you'll hear about that. The types of posts that you saw on these pages includes, "This is ridiculous. My daughter always freaks out. It's getting old. I'm nervous. Lock your cars." These are actual posts from that neighborhood Facebook page. As a result of this uptick in crime, of people being on edge, people were alert to suspicious behavior. In July of 2019, Travis McMichael and Greg McMichael were alert to suspicious behavior, long before ever encountering Ahmaud Arbery. In July of 2019, Travis McMichael, who was at that point running a little charter boat, taking people out, tourists out on the river in the marshes, was on his boat with some guests when he went under the Fancy Bluffs Bridge that you heard about earlier. There he saw a homeless man who had lots of stuff around him and a tarp. Stuff, the kind of stuff that made Travis look twice and made Travis feel suspicious that maybe this was the guy who was taking the stuff out of our neighborhood. So he dropped off his guests eventually, went home, got in the car with his father, Greg, and they drove to the area under the Fancy Bluffs Bridge. There they saw the man. And what you see up here is the call, basically what's called a CAD report. It's basically a report made of Greg McMichael's 911 call to the Glenn County Police to say, hey, basically, there's a guy under the bridge we think is responsible. Could you please investigate? And the police did. They sent an officer out there, and really nothing of note was found. And the investigation ended. But the break-ins, the theft, didn't end, especially for a man named Larry English. For Mr. English, it was only beginning. Larry English, as you heard, lives in Douglas, Georgia. He was so excited to have a weekend home in Satilla Shores on this beautiful little Satilla River. He built a home. He was going to use it for weekends and vacations with his wife, Amy, his daughter, Laura, his son, Hoyt. And so it took time, delays and all that with contractors and himself having issues with health. But he started building a home in Satilla Shores for use as a vacation place, a getaway. He built a dock. His home is right here, the dock on the river. He had a boat on a hoist at the dock, and he had a large offshore boat in his RV garage. And that garage, and I promise not to touch the screen, is this large garage. But that's where he kept, it's called an RV garage, but it's really a boat garage for Mr. English. Eventually, because of some advice from his neighbor, Kenny Wade, who lived next door, he installed a camera at the dock and one on the back of his house, which you can't see from this photo. He was concerned about liability because kids were playing out there, and they would take his scraps of wood, they would hang out by the dock. But he was also concerned about theft because he had valuables at his house. He had 2 boats, sometimes 3 boats, and he parked his camper on the property, which you can't see in the picture, but you'll see eventually. His camper that he stayed in, sometimes alone, sometimes with his wife and kids, when they came to the house either to work on it or to play at it. So he was concerned about all of this when he installed those cameras.
So that's new. Didn't know about him staying at the place with
on his cameras at night
a
Ahmaud
camper.
Arbery 4 times.
His place right here, they show you. Remember, that's water.
This is the first time, and this is the
this
first
is a nice
time
place.
his camera alerted.
Nice views. Problem is that over here
was October 25th,
is a bad section of town.
2019. Now remember, he's in Douglas, Georgia. He has a cell phone. When his camera spots somebody, he gets an alert on his cell phone. This is a photograph of Ahmaud Arbery on his dock, October 25th, 2019. He gets this alert. He sees this man. He calls Glenn County Police Department. Can't call 911 because 911 would go to Douglas Police. But he calls the 911 number for Glenn County Police. And he's scared. And he's concerned. What is this guy doing at my house at night? There is no legitimate reason, according to Mr. English, for this man to be at his house where his boats are stored, where his camper is parked at night. And he calls the police. He's concerned not only for his stuff, but he's concerned for his family. Because what if Amy was there at the camper alone? What if his daughter, Laura, was there sleeping there that night? And she walks outside and bumps into this intruder. And he gets scared and he panics and she panics. and something really, really awful happens. These are the thoughts that went through Larry English's mind when he sees this intruder
you're
in his
trespassing.
house on October 25th, 2019. He calls back Glenn County a second time after this initial call. Go back. Okay. Because he calls the police to tell them that the man who's on the dock, and he describes him as plundering around, describes his tattoos, describes his hair twists. The man who was in his house plundering around,
This guy looks just like
now
Henry
gone
Winkler.
across the street towards his other neighbor's house. He describes it as a, I think, whitish, yellowish house. It's Subi Lawrence's house. It's a neighbor he knows. Subi is a single mom. She's a mother of 3 boys. The boys who play outside and ride their bikes and steal Larry English's scraps of wood for their skateboard ramp or their fort or whatever they're doing. This is who Mr. English sees and who he's concerned about. And he wants the police to confront this man and tell him, don't come back. He doesn't see him take anything. Remember, he's only got cameras on the back of the house right now. 1 camera, back of the house, and 1 camera at the dock. He wants him removed. By the time police come, and I think it's Officer Rash who responds that first time. Robert Rash. You'll hear from Officer Rash. No sign of Mr. Arbery, the man we later find out is Ahmaud Arbery. No sign. Now, he's okay with curiosity seekers coming to his house. We've all done it. See a house under construction. It looks kind of interesting. Oh, what are the neighbors building? What are they adding on? What's the staircase going to look like? He's okay with all that. He's okay with the kids coming in during the daytime, taking the scraps of wood. It didn't matter to him. What concerned him was there is no reason that's legitimate to be there at night. And that's why he calls the police. Sometime after October 25th, Mr. English is on a ladder in his RV garage, looks in his offshore boat, and realizes his satellite system, his Yeti cooler, and his microphone system are gone, taken out of the boat. He doesn't know who did it. He does know the HVAC guys were in that area installing some of the not pipes, some of the system in there. He also knows the black male from October 25th was in there. And so he's suspicious. But what can he do? The next alert on his phone is November 17th. Okay. November 17th, a white couple comes on his property at night, 10 o'clock at night. They park out by the porta potty that you saw in the earlier picture. The man has his belt unbuckled, comes in the house, and he calls 911, and he says, about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, I had my stuff stolen. This is now November 17th. Week and a half, 2 weeks ago is pretty close to October 25th. I've had my stuff stolen. They're in the same area. They're going around where the boat is in the RV garage. Police send an officer out. Officers go out. The couple's gone. They see nothing. Mr. English is upset. He's frustrated. He has valuables stored at the house. Stuff has been stolen. Now 2 people have been seen on his cameras, 3 people, 2 white people and a black male. And so the next morning, November 18th, he goes and he gets his boat and he hauls it away. Figures, I just can't keep valuables in this house that's open. but is owned by him with his valuables. And so he takes the boat away. That very night, November 18th, he sees the same black male he saw on October 25th. The man we now know is Ahmaud Arbery. He's back again. He's seen around the boat, not the big offshore boat, but the other boats. And according to Mr. English, he's plundering around again. He calls Glenn County Police again. Glenn County Police arrive again. And again, Mr. Arbery gets away without being confronted by the police. And Mr. English is frustrated. Of course. He's so frustrated that the very next day, November 19th, these are all out of order. And this is why we don't use technology.
Oh, gosh.
November 18th, 2019. This is the night he sees Ahmaud Arbery for the second time. There's somebody back on the property again.
I agree with him. 100% in agreement.
In late November, got tattoos.
I couldn't imagine using technology in a trial.
He's wandering in the carport, looking in the boat, not the offshore boat, the smaller boat. The same guy that was here about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The night before, he's calling police saying, my stuff was stolen a week and a half, 2 weeks before. He kind of looks like he's up to no good. He's on 3 different people's cameras in the neighborhood. This is Larry English's 911 call on November 18th, 2019. November 19th, the very next day, he has an exchange through text message with his 2 doors down neighbor, Diego Perez. Diego Perez is another person who believes it's his duty and responsibility to look out not just for himself, but for his neighbors. And so Diego has this conversation with Larry English. This is a printout from an extraction from Larry English's phone. So, and you'll see this in evidence. And it's out of order, the way it's printed out. So I'm going to kind of walk you through it because the first exchange is from Larry English. He sends Diego Perez clips of the videos from the white couple on the 17th of November and the black male on the 18th of November. And he says to Diego Perez,
Well,
who he just knows
totally.
as Diego Satilla Shores. That's
Be
how
flipping
he
out
refers
us,
to him.
with this being
They're
out
not
of order.
friends. They're just neighbors, good neighbors. And he says to Diego, have you seen these people in the neighborhood? And Diego says, no, sir. I can't say I've ever seen them in the neighborhood, but I'll keep an eye out. I can respond in mere seconds because he's only 2 doors down. With your permission. Larry English says, you have my permission.
This just sounds
Diego
like
says,
a
I may be
typical
able to intercept
southern
them
neighborhood.
or pen them up.
You're trying to help out your neighbor.
I may be able to intercept them or pen them up for the police. Diego Perez is taking it upon himself, if he can, to perform a citizen's arrest. I'm going to hold them until the police come. And Larry English's response to that, thank you. Because seconds count. Diego Perez knows it. Larry English now knows it. Because 3 times he's tried to catch his intruders and 3 times he's failed because the police just get there too late. As Diego Perez...
When seconds count, police are minutes away.
When seconds count, the police are minutes away.
How did that happen?
And so he needs the help of Diego Perez and other neighbors.
How did he... Whoa!
Officer Rash, who responds to these calls, he canvasses the neighborhood. He's trying to catch this guy. And so he canvasses the neighborhood using stills from the video. Have you seen this guy? Do you know him? Can you help me help Larry English? and no one knows him. He's not jogging in the neighborhood. No one's ever seen him. The only time we see Ahmaud Arbery in Satilla Shores is at night on these cameras. And remember, people have cameras in the neighborhood. If he was in there jogging in the daytime, you would see evidence of that. So November 19th, Diego Perez offers to help. Officer Rash canvasses the neighborhood. He's still a mystery. He is at this point a scary mystery because he's plundering around Larry English's house, and now everybody knows it. Officer Rash has canvassed the neighborhood. Larry English is talking to neighbors like Matt Albenzi, like Subi Lawrence, like his neighbor Diego and his wife, Brooke Perez. It's being posted on Facebook, on the neighborhood Facebook page. Word is out that stuff was stolen from Larry English's house, parked in his RV garage. Now, I want to be clear. In May, after Travis McMichael was arrested, Larry English realizes he doesn't really know when the stuff was stolen. It was back in Douglas. It was in the house on Satilla Drive. But what he was telling people in October, November, December, January, February 2020 is that the stuff was taken out of my boat, parked at my house on Satilla Drive. That's what the neighbors knew from Larry English.
So for 5 months, this guy had the wrong.
He's back at the house, Ahmaud Arbery, on December 17th. This is now the third time seen on camera at Larry English's house. He's at night. He has no legitimate reason for being there.
Really?
And remember, although you're seeing him through infrared cameras, it is pitch black in that house. There is no light. There's no lights on. There's no light switch, no light bulbs. It is pitch dark. And on December 17th, Ahmaud Arbery is seen plundering around again in the area where the boats were located in that RV garage. Police are not called that night. There's no 911 call. Larry English can't remember why he didn't call police. He may have been sick and not seen this video until much later. And you saw the clip of the video with Ahmaud Arbery walking outside the house, looking around again. And
I'm sorry, like this attorney just has me mesmerized.
And the question remains, was he out for a jog?
The guy reminds me so much of Henry Winkler.
10 o'clock at night, December 17th? Or was he doing something else? And we'll never know. But it sure does look suspicious. The next time he's seen in Larry English's house is February 11th, 2020. This is now the fourth time in the house. But this time is different. Because this time it's not Larry English who calls the police. It's Travis McMichael. The state got the facts a little bit wrong. So let me correct him. Travis McMichael was going out that night, about 7:30 at night. It's dark. To get gas, fill up his car before the next day. He had to be at work early, so he was just going to fill up his car that night. So he wouldn't have to wake up so early in the morning the next day. On his way up the street, he's at 236 Hill. This is the exit up here. This is English's house. As he gets up here, he sees a figure dart across the street. And this figure, now he realizes it's a man, is lurking in the shadows 25 to 30 feet from the street, kind of staying in the shadows very furtively, catches Travis's attention. He has no idea who this is. He's never met Ahmaud Arbery. But he sees this guy, and he sees this guy kind of running across the lawn. It's really initially the house next door, kind of a Spanish-style house. He runs across the yard, and he hides behind that red porta potty that you saw in that photograph. Travis is like, this is not good. We know about a guy intruding in Larry English's house. And he stops his car, and he kind of aims his headlights at the porta potty. And knowing there is no legitimate reason for this man to be there, he starts to get out of his car to ask him why he's there. Well, this guy steps out from the porta potty, and he reaches with his left hand, I believe, into his waist, as if reaching for a weapon. It scares the heck out of Travis. He sees this. He's trying to get out. Gets in his car, puts it in reverse, stalls because he's so startled. Eventually backs up and gets home, where he calls 911, and this is what he says. This is the 911 call. We're not going to play the whole thing because it's too long.
It's a former girl, 230, little job. We got a string of burglars. I was working in the neighborhood, and I just saw a gunner running into a house being built. Two houses down from me. When I turned around, she took off.
Who's jogging into the house?
The black male, red shirt, white shorts.
And you said the house is being built?
It's being built. I'm thinking right now, he is in the house.
And that's gonna be. Think about the guy here who's on trial down here at the bottom left. This has to be horrible for him, sitting there listening to the 911 call, where he's just trying to be a good neighbor.
Where are you at now?
I'm sitting right across the street in my truck. Watching the house. Watching that Twitter. Right here at the
Okay. Where are you at?
Red Ford.
Are you okay?
Yeah, what I just told me, when I turned around, going and backed up, he reached into his pocket and ran into the house. So I don't know if he's on.
Where's my? For some reason, this isn't coming through right.
Yeah, be mindful of that.
Okay. Which pocket did he reach into?
Okay, so imagine being in court here, hearing your 911 call, and you're thinking like, I'm just trying to be a good neighbor. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm trying to do what I'm supposed to do and call the police, and the police were inept about it.
And break-ins around here lately. So now here we are. This guy who has seen Travis see him, and seen Travis drive away, still has the audacity, the brazenness to go into the English house. Travis is home calling 911. Greg McMichael overhears, and he starts going up to the English house. And he's got his firearm with him. And Travis says, whoa, slow down. Turns out Travis ends up going up there with him, and Travis has his firearm. Diego Perez, who by now has been alerted.
So I just found out my
by Larry English with his video clips.
Input device was on a virtual type, whatever that is.
These neighbors are going to Larry English's house, not because it's fun at 8:00 at night in February in Satilla Shores, but because it's their duty and responsibility to each other.
No wonder you couldn't hear anything. Is this still not?
To do what they can to help the police stop the guy who's plundering around, breaking into Larry English's house. Officer Rash gets called. They are all out. Officer Rash, 2 other officers, Diego Perez, Greg McMichael, Travis McMichael, all out trying to find the guy, Ahmaud Arbery, who's now for the 4th time in Larry English's house. Officer Rash appreciates the help. He never tells Greg McMichael, Travis McMichael, or Diego Perez, hey guys, let the police handle this. We got this. No problem. You guys go home. He never tells them, hey, put those guns away. We don't need guns out here. Don't carry guns around here. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say, no, you guys cannot stop and detain this guy if you catch him. That's a police job, because it is a citizen's job.
He's right.
To help the police. And the law authorizes that. He tells Greg McMichael and Travis McMichael that Larry English says nothing was stolen. But these guys know stuff was stolen. Everybody knows it. Larry English has already told everybody. Subi, Matt.
So there's a misconception I ran into before where
Rash has been around. We all know
that made a loud noise.
Stuff has been stolen.
People think that if you
So now here
turn,
we are.
if you call the police
Here are facts.
and tell them you're broken into, that somehow it will get reported, and you get a your property value gets dinged because people will look it up and whatnot. It's better to have the police come and find somebody and arrest them than continually be robbed.
Not authorized to be there. He's not working on the house, not doing anything but plundering around the house. He knows stuff has been stolen.
I knew a judge that would hold you in contempt of yourself and went off in court and take your phone.
He knows stuff has been stolen because Larry English has told everybody that. He knows this guy has the audacity to go in the house despite knowing people are around and watching him. He knows he's possibly armed because he made that move to his left-hand pocket, waist. He has probable cause to believe a burglary has been committed. What is burglary? Let's go back one slide. Burglary is entering a dwelling, whether occupied or not. The fact that it's open without doors means nothing. It's any dwelling, any building, structure, whether occupied or not, without authority, with the intent to commit a felony or theft. You don't actually, to commit a burglary, have to take anything.
Now, the reason why he's explained this is because the difference between common law and statutory law on burglary. Burglary had to be, I think, at nighttime. You had to have, you may have had to have been in the dwelling.
To believe
there had to be a breaking.
Is a burglar.
Meaning that it had to open, you go through a window, go through a door.
What does it mean? It is the level of suspicion.
Objection. At this point in time, I have an objection at this point in time to this being the law, and the law is going to come from the court. And this has not been, how about I put this, approved on any level by the court.
Well, let me make it clear. This is what Travis McMichael understood from his training as the definition of probable cause.
Okay.
So the evidence will show.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I indicated to you, the court will actually charge you on the law.
That is awesome.
The presentation here, the representation is made on what the law is. Again, the court, you will receive that from the court. You will not be receiving that from counsel. So if we could please couch the argument in those terms.
Yes, sir.
And this is not what I understand probable cause to be. This is what Travis McMichael, from his 10 years in the Coast Guard.
This guy was good. That was a great remark. Great comeback.
Suspicion that would cause a reasonable and prudent person to believe that a crime has been committed under the totality of the circumstances. That's it. It's the level of suspicion
Great comeback.
that you would need under the totality of the circumstances to believe that a crime was committed. That's where Travis McMichael sat as of February 11th, 2020. The next time we see Ahmaud Arbery in Satilla Shores is February 23rd.
The computer's getting hot.
Kind of a warm February
My
day
Apple M1 is heating up.
in Brunswick.
They have no fan.
Travis McMichael, around midday, around 1 o'clock, is on the couch in his living room trying to get Everett to take a nap, 3-year-old son. So he's doing the strategies that parents do. He has Everett every other week. He shares custody with Everett's mom. On this Sunday, he's trying to get Everett to go to sleep. Greg is in the front yard, in the driveway, reupholstering his boat cushions. It is a pleasant, uneventful Sunday morning leading into Sunday afternoon.
Oh, that brings some
While
noise.
they're doing that, Ahmaud Arbery is walking into the neighborhood, not jogging, not running, walking into the neighborhood, walking into Larry English's front yard. Where he stands there, and this is the view from Ronnie Olson's house across the street.
All right,
Where
let's
he
see here.
stands there, looks around,
Oh, wow.
and walks into the house. While he's doing that, Matt
Look at that.
Lindsay is in his yard, down Jones. He's down here. He can see directly into Larry English's yard. He is aware of the break-ins into Larry English's house. He is aware of the items stolen from Larry English's boat. He's out splitting logs. A tree had fallen in his yard, so he's breaking up the tree. He sees this guy that looks like the guy from the video clips. In fact, is the guy from the video clips, walking into Larry English's house. He grabs his gun, puts it in his pocket, grabs his cell phone, walks down Jones to an oak tree. There it is. Across the street from Larry English's house.
Oh, Lowe's wearing
He
overalls.
calls 911. While he's calling 911, he sees Ahmaud Arbery through the windows in Larry English's house. He doesn't know what he's doing in there.
Did you see that
This guy's been there at night.
the closed captioning
4
called
times prior. He knows
Mater
stuff
B?
was stolen.
Ahmaud
So he's calling
Arbery?
the police.
It translated as Mater B.
He believes, eye contact with Ahmaud Arbery. The next thing he sees is Ahmaud Arbery sprint out of that house. He is not jogging. He is running away into the neighborhood, possibly armed, based on prior experience. He is sprinting at what turns out to be about a 6-minute mile. It's fast, and he's got long strides. That view is from Diego Perez's surveillance camera. He runs
that's not
right
jogging.
past Greg McMichael's yard.
That's sprinting.
Greg McMichael sees him. Greg McMichael is aware of the things that have happened that we've talked about. Greg McMichael sees him tearing, hauling ass down the road,
Hauling ass.
and he knows what's up. And he goes inside and he tells Travis, the guy's running down the street. The guy. They know who it is. They're not guessing. It's not some random guy running down the street. It's the guy. And they turn out to be right. It is the guy, the same guy.
When did jogging become part of the
They grab their guns.
nomenclature for
Why
this?
did Travis McMichael grab his shotgun? Because 12 days earlier, he confronts this guy trying to help Larry English. And this guy reaches into his pocket like he has a gun. So he grabs his shotgun for self-protection. And he gets in the car, or he walks out in the yard actually, and he sees Matt Albenzi motioning down the street. Same direction Ahmaud Arbery was running in. Gets in the car. His dad gets in the truck. I'm sorry, I say car. It's a truck, Ford F-150, and climbs into the car seat because when seconds count, the police are often minutes away. The police are not going to catch this guy at the speed he's running. So they're going to try to detain him for the police. What happens after that's up to the police. So they encounter Ahmaud Arbery on Burford.
Materbury.
The first encounter.
They call it Materbury that time.
This is what it looks like. You saw the video. Oh, let's go back to there. They're there to detain Ahmaud Arbery for the police. This is what the law allows. A private person may arrest an offender if the offense is committed in his presence or immediate knowledge. And that applies to felonies or misdemeanors. But there's a second sentence the state didn't tell you about. The second sentence is, if the offense is a felony and the offender is escaping or attempting to escape, a private person may arrest him upon reasonable and probable grounds of suspicion. That's why Travis McMichael and Greg McMichael sought to detain Ahmaud Arbery. There was no crime committed in their presence. We're not contending there was a crime committed in their presence, but there was probable cause to believe a felony had been committed and that this man was attempting to escape or flee. That's why citizen's arrest is in this case. There are 3 encounters with Ahmaud Arbery on Burford. The first one is in front of Roddy Bryan's house, William R. Bryan. I shouldn't call him Roddy. I don't know. Mr. Bryan's house. Travis McMichael pulls up alongside Ahmaud Arbery and says, "Stop. Whoa. I want to talk to you. What were you doing back there? What's going on?" And Ahmaud Arbery says, "Zero." He doesn't say, "Hey, man, I'm just out for a jog." He doesn't say, "Hey, leave me alone." He doesn't say, "Back off." He doesn't say, "Hey, calm." Doesn't say anything. He just looks at Travis and he goes back the other way. Travis backs his truck up and says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, stop. I'm talk to you." Ahmaud Arbery looks at him and bolts. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't say, "Leave me alone." Doesn't say, "Hey, good morning, good afternoon." He just bolts. At this time, there is no gun. The shotgun that Travis bought is stuck between his seats. Greg's gun is on his holster. There's no gun being pointed at Mr. Arbery. There's no like, "Hey, stop," at the point of a pistol or a shotgun. There's no gun. Mr. Arbery's not even aware of any gun at that point because no gun has been shown. They go down Burford. They pull up to him again. And Burford, by the way, Satilla Drive turns kind of, the little drive turns into Burford. They go down Burford a little ways more. "Whoa, stop. We want to talk to you." "Stop. We called the police. Police are coming." When Mr. Arbery hears Travis McMichael say, "We called the police. Police are coming," he bolts back the other way towards Roddy Bryan's house, back towards Satilla Drive. They stop the truck, put it in park. Greg McMichael does get out and he gets in the bed because he's cramped into the child seat. Travis McMichael gets out and he looks down the road. What the heck? I want to talk to this guy. It's just, we suspect coming out of English's house. He sees Albenzi moving. We know it's the guy from the night 12 days before. He's back again. And he looks down the street and he sees Ahmaud Arbery trying to get into Roddy Bryan's truck, Mr. Bryan's truck. He's interacting with the truck. And he doesn't know who that black Silverado truck belongs to. He doesn't know Roddy Bryan. He's never met him. He doesn't know his truck. So he sees this black Silverado and he sees Ahmaud Arbery trying to get in it, and he expects to hear a gunshot because he thinks Ahmaud Arbery is armed, like he pretended to be on the 11th. And he's fearful that this guy, whose name he doesn't know, will try to shoot the owner of the truck and take the truck. And so that scares him. This attacking the truck worries him. His dad says, Travis, go back, go back. He says, no, Dad, just go around. We're going to go around Zellwood. You heard the name. Goes down further down here. They see this interaction back here. We're going to go around Zellwood. They don't and take a left on home. Now, they don't know where either the black Silverado is or what that has to do with anything or where Ahmaud Arbery is. So going down Holmes is not with the intention of trapping Ahmaud Arbery. It's with the intention of strategically planting yourself so you can kind of help the police see the neighborhood. As they go down Holmes Drive at a slow rate, they see Ahmaud Arbery running in front of the truck.
I mean, you know, this is starting to bore me because I'm like,
Michael,
this is the narrative that
doesn't say
I
anything.
kind of came up with
Arbery
for myself.
shout at him.
I mean,
Just kind of drives past him.
what's
What he's going to do? Again, no gun, no shotgun, no.
I don't know.
pistol.
It just seems weird, the whole thing.
Shown to Mr. Arbery.
And remember, all this got started. I mean, there was nothing to prosecute at first, and then now it became a Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. You saw how wonderful they treated America last year. I mean, I'm out of sympathy for everybody.
They don't know where Mr. Arbery is at this point because he's around a dog leg.
All right, is anybody there? Oh man, I accidentally deleted. I turned off the stream.
They call.
I think we're back. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that.
Evidence of an intent to murder. While Travis is out there, now he has his gun for protection because this guy has run at him, has acted bizarrely, has not said a word yet that he could tell. And now Ahmaud Arbery is running back. Travis's training taught him to show a weapon. Not to use a weapon, to show a weapon, because that is a way to de-escalate violence. In the normal situation, you show someone you have a weapon, you get compliance. You don't need to go any further. And so he stands there at the low ready position, not pointing his weapon, and Ahmaud Arbery is running. And he's running at Travis McMichael. stop, get down, stop. And this guy is not stopping. And Travis knows that this guy is not going to stop. He's not predictable. He's going to be on him in seconds if he doesn't do something. Like, please turn. Please go up, Satilla. This is where we are. Ahmaud Arbery had a clear path.
I mean, I cannot believe I did that. What a dope.
He doesn't cut across.
I'll tell you what, this little fan I have
And yes, at about 20
really
yards,
has
he raises the weapon
calmed down this.
because he knows Ahmaud Arbery can be on him, and he's hoping
M1
that
mag.
by raising the weapon, he will de-escalate the situation. Who's going to attack a guy pointing a shotgun? If he wanted to kill him, that was an open shot.
I get some earphones.
He didn't shoot his weapon. He was trying to de-escalate the situation in compliance with his 9 years of training in the Coast Guard, same training police officers get. You see his, go back to the one before. The gun is down, and you saw this a little bit. You can see the white forearm of Travis McMichael. Let me move this map. I apologize.
Be careful.
It doesn't even face them. How can you not turn it? It's on wheels.
I didn't say don't.
Okay.
I said be careful because when we've done that before, we lost.
You'll see this in this
Okay, hold on a second.
I'm sorry.
Next time I ask you to stop, please stop.
No, I thought you should just be careful.
You know, but just, yeah, the point is, let's not keep doing stuff around. If you're going to be doing something,
Oh wow.
let everybody know what's going on. Okay.
Oh wow.
Last time this was touched, not by Ms. Donkowski, but generally in other matters before the court, we've lost it. So if we could, before we just start moving things around, let the court know.
I don't touch it.
Well, I know Mr. Rubin doesn't
I'm
touch
not
it.
touching it.
And I don't mean to call it a show. I'm very touchy about, no pun intended, about some of this electronics in here. As Mr. Rubin has alluded to, we've lost connections and all sorts of problems. So we're trying to make sure these presentations flow. So I didn't mean to.
Awesome.
Everybody could let me know if we're doing that.
I love Barry Zuckerhorn there.
This is a fuzzy picture. You'll have pictures in this.
I don't touch it.
video throughout the course of the trial. His arm is down, and you can see the white forearm. You can see the driveway here. Travis McMichael.
We haven't lost the sight line there, have we? You're okay over your shoulder now? Okay, that's the other issue.
And I know it's awkward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. So there's a driveway here, and Travis McMichael is across from another driveway. You'll see it's about 60 feet, 20 yards.
Only Barry knows where to look.
He knows how quickly someone can cover 20 yards in seconds. An unarmed person can take a weapon away and kill a police officer.
In 21 seconds, seven,
or
I'm
a
21 feet.
civilian in seconds, even from 20 yards away.
Yeah, 20 yards away, it's
Even an armed person from 20 yards away.
21
So he
feet,
raises his weapon.
7 yards. Takes a second and a half to strike a deadly blow on somebody.
Because he wants the guy to stop, not because he wants to hurt Ahmaud Arbery. He's not looking for an encounter. If he wanted to hurt somebody, he would have fired on Burford, on Holmes, or now down here at the bottom. Ahmaud Arbery doesn't stop. He doesn't say, whoa, hey.
Hands up, don't shoot.
He doesn't say anything.
That's awesome.
He doesn't stop.
Look at that image of him doing the hands
So
up.
he goes around the truck.
That is
To the
so
right-hand
perfect.
side, the passenger side. And at that point, Travis McMichael can't see his hands. Remember, he still thinks this guy could be armed because I saw this guy, at least pretend he was, on the 11th. He doesn't.
Yeah, a few
know.
days
He
earlier.
can't see his hands. And his dad, his 64, 65-year-old dad, who's had a stroke, is on the bed.
Oh,
And
jeez.
Ahmaud Arbery could just yank him down or take a shot at him. He doesn't know. So he goes to the front of the truck to get an eye on him. What's this guy going to do? Good Lord, I hope he just keeps running. Go up Satilla. But he doesn't know. So he goes to the front, and within a split second, Ahmaud Arbery makes a left, not a right. Makes a left and is on Travis, such that Travis has no choice but to fire his weapon in self-defense. And that shot.
But didn't he even fire? I mean, the way he looked, I thought at first he pulled the
Arbery is
gun towards him.
You'll hear that from Brian Leopard of the GBI Crime Lab. That first shot, which we can't really see because it's videotaped through two windshields, Robbie Bryan's windshield and Travis McMichael's windshield. They're in front of the truck. When they collide, when Ahmaud Arbery makes a left, he's on Travis, and Travis has to fire. Because at that point, it's his life or Ahmaud Arbery's life. And the only thing, it's weird the way the mind works, the only thing he can think of at that point is Everett. Kind of flashes through his mind. My three-year-old son. So he fires, he pulls down the weapon, trying to get it away because Ahmaud Arbery's not stopped. That gunshot, which he knows was near his chest. At least he believes it in this melee. He pulls it down, he pulls it back. You'll see from the video, he goes backwards out of frame because Arbery is rushing in, pulls it down, he fires another shot off frame. You see smoke, you see something spray. And you see Ahmaud Arbery swinging wildly. And he's hitting Travis. You see him hit with his right hand into Travis's head, neck.
Oh, wow.
He's pounding Travis McMichael while Travis is trying to get the gun away. And Travis fires 2 more times, and you've seen that. It's a horrible, horrible video. And it's tragic. It's tragic that Ahmaud Arbery lost his life. But at that point, Travis McMichael is acting in self-defense. He did not want to encounter Ahmaud Arbery physically. He was only trying to stop him for the police. Self-defense is defined, and the court will charge you later.
Your Honor, I'm objecting again.
2 objections and opening arguments.
Self-defense.
It is,
So
we are allowed to give a long opening statement, just as the state did in its opening.
But we need to be very clear because, again, we haven't gone through a charge conference in this case. So let's be clear about it, that this is not the charge. So
I expect you'll be charged on self-defense. And I expect this is what you'll be called, be charged, be told by the judge. A person is justified in using force which is intended or likely to cause death or great bodily harm
Oh, wow.
only if he reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent death or great bodily injury to himself or to a third person. At the time the shots are fired, Travis McMichael reasonably believes, because Ahmaud Arbery is on him, aggressively, swinging wildly, grabbing hold of him, grabbing hold of the gun, reasonably believes he is justified in firing his weapon, knowing it's gonna kill him. It's gonna at least hurt him. He knows that. He has no choice, because if this guy gets his gun, he's dead, or his dad's dead. And what's he taught in the Coast Guard at the Maritime Law Enforcement Academy? Never lose your weapon. And that's why he shoots. Travis McMichael, within seconds, encounters the police. Officer Minshew, Officer Duggan, they arrive on scene. He cooperates fully. He does whatever they tell him to do. When they say speak, he speaks. When they say don't speak, he doesn't speak. Cooperates fully. He's distraught. He's upset. You'll see this on the video, the body cam of the officers. There's no glee at having done what he just did. It's awful. He's covered in blood.
Oh, wow. I never saw that.
And then they take him down to the station, and he cooperates fully with the police and answers every question. When they tell him to write a map of where he went, he tries to write a map of where they went when they encountered each other on Burford and Holmes. And when they ask him to write a statement, he does his best to write out everything he knows to tell the police. There's been a lot written about this case and Travis McMichael's actions. Doesn't matter. What matters now is the evidence that you're going to hear, the facts that you're going to hear, and the law that you're going to be given by Judge Walmsley. You are now the judges of the facts and the applicators of the law in this case.
That's right.
The evidence shows overwhelmingly that Travis McMichael, honestly and lawfully, attempted to detain Ahmaud Arbery according to the law and shot and killed him in self-defense. What we're asking you to do is hard, and it may be unpopular, but we're asking you to recognize your responsibility as jurors in being open to the facts and putting aside emotion and listening to the law and applying that and doing your duty. Because we think the only right verdict is not guilty on each and every count in this indictment. Thank you.
That was a good opening statement, I think.
Thank you.
I don't know what they got planned for next, but I mean, there's no need for further on this. That guy, if they're going to try to do an opening statement for every single person,
All right. Thank you, counsel.
then
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 15-minute recess, and then we will come back for the continuing of the opening statements. Thank you.
I think I'll do a condensed version of the rest of the opening statements. That one I liked it. I mean, everything about it. He got 2 objections, and I love objections too. But that was just, man, I'm impressed. I did not see the state's opening arguments. I need to go back and look at it. But I don't know. What do y'all think? It's this big stuff here happening down in Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia, right? So anyway, y'all please subscribe, and we will keep up with this. And Kyle Rittenhouse, they're both at the same time. Do you think that's a coincidence? So anyway, man, be good. Do something good for yourself and for somebody today. This is I love they always zoom the camera in right there. Why do they zoom it in right there? Anyway, all right, guys. Oh, then they switched to the eagle. That's a little bit better than the hey, actually that's the eagle's backwards, isn't it? Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Peace and aloha. So long. Arrivederci? Is that how you say it? Godspeed. Y'all come back. Peace, y'all. Peace.